I think I'm playing chess, I see a king, I'm at his neck. I'm 3 steps ahead of every move, now that's a check. Yes, they wanna know my secret, it's because I never slept. All my though I love the family to death.
Alright guys, welcome to another Fieldcraft video. What I'm going to talk to you guys about today is going to answer a few questions for the people who are coming to our classes. I field a ton of emails. I know I've answered somebody's email that's watching this right now, and I said something along the lines of good sound fundamentals, so good marksmanship fundamentals, and then a good understanding of safety applications. And what I mean by that is where you're pointing the gun, knowing not to draw the gun when we're not using the gun. Those are just the little things that we talk about every class right before the class starts. So if you're planning on attending, know that those are the things you need to come with. And on top of that, this video is going to cover what we suggest as far as how to pick up a gun, how to load a gun, how to unload a gun, and how to handle malfunctions in a dry setting so you can practice them before you come to a class. So first and foremost, gun safety, right? It's harped everywhere, you see it everywhere, it's become almost cliche, and there's a ton of merit to the absolute safety of things. Things are inherently dangerous, right? These guns, these tools, they are inherently dangerous. So we can't always mitigate all of the safety measures. You, the individual, can, however, be way more proactive. So it's less about these static safety rules, and it's more about being aware. Awareness in an environment with other shooters, other people, property, makes you just a better person, and your safety practices are even better because of that. So if I know that there's a bunch of people standing there, I'm not gonna look at them and then bring the gun with me. I'll look at them and understand that if I need to turn my whole body, I can either put this away wherever I'm carrying it, or just point it downward and know that it's staying within my bubble, but still not flagging myself. These are all the little things that creating and breeding awareness, good practice at home, understanding where that muzzle is pointed at all times, obviously finger outside of the trigger until we're ready to start doing some shooting. These are the little things that you can practice at home, still static, not even having gone to the range, that are gonna make you a way better shooter, and everyone else around you is gonna enjoy having you there because you're not pointing guns at them accidentally or inadvertently, or however you want to phrase that inappropriate act of muzzling your buddies. Alright, so there's topics that get overlooked because they're lumping things together, and it has to be on this range setting environment, right? So grabbing or holding the gun itself needs to be addressed, because before I do anything else, I need to put this gun in my hand, right? So how I grab the gun, how I hold the gun, is different than how I'm gonna grip the gun with my 2 hands to fire the gun. So let's talk about holding the gun or picking the gun up and getting it into the hand. So what we wanna do is we wanna pick it up and be really strong with it. Finger's gonna come up under the trigger well there, the back strap of the gun here, if you can see my hand there, it's up as high as possible, fingers along the side, this finger's along this side because it's one-handed, so I'm putting pressure on both sides of the gun. So this is me holding the gun. Mike likes to talk about a hammer-style grip or holding position for the wrist and hands. This allows the gun to stay stiff. My wrist is stiff while I'm handling the gun, moving the gun around and doing things with it nice and strong without it just being limp wrist and things pointed in different directions. So when you grab your gun, this motion is going to help isolate the wrist, which is good for creating that initial part of the two-handed grip portion of shooting, which we'll get into in the next video. Right now, like I said, we're covering fundamental movements and actions for you to practice at home before we go anywhere else. Alright, so we covered the safety stuff, we covered how to hold and grab this gun from its resting position. We didn't cover the safety aspect of understanding if the gun is empty or not. I saved it for this one just so that we have a sequence that's kind of flowing. Let's address that now. So in that good grip where I know I'm controlling the gun, my finger's out of the trigger, I'm not pointing it at anything that I don't intend to shoot. In practice, we have our safe areas. We all know this. Corners of walls are pretty durable. So getting into this part, when I pick this thing up here, I need to open it so that I can visually confirm that the gun is clear and empty, right? So locking the slide back allows me to look inside, it allows me to look through the mag well, and I know that it's not loaded. If it was loaded, a round would eject and I would drop the mag, right? But that's not the sequence here. So picking this up, locking it open, and you can lock it open however you decide. If it's better for you to pick up and lock it in a slingshot way, do that. If it's better for you to pick it up, lock it overhand, it's fine. Do what works best for you. Nobody's trying to change the way you do things. There are certain things that are just gonna happen in the evolution of anything relating to having to use these real time. So it's just gonna evolve. So get good at using slingshot, get good at going over the top, do your thing, work with all of them, know them, have them registered in case you need them.
It's because I never slept. All my nightmares of me at 40, life's a wreck. See my dad, he in debt, and my mom, she upset. That's way back when 408 on Seminole was the address. I saw things I shouldn't have, though I love the family.
So, why this is important and why the consistency that we can breed through this. If I pick this gun up, I lock the slide open, I can see into the gun is open, it's giving me information, right? We collect data through our eyes. I'm looking in there, I know it's clear, so I know that there's no mag, so I don't have to dump the mag or pull the mag out. So this gun is officially clear now, I know that. I can let the slide go forward, I've handled it, I've now put it down, and now I can start working my dry practice and things like that. So the importance of picking up a gun, making sure that it's clear by first opening this and then addressing the magazine. So let's run the sequence like this. Let's say this gun is sitting there with a magazine in the gun. I'm still gonna come traditionally, so let's talk about traditionally. Traditionally, it was remove the source of ammunition, then lock the slide to the rear, then look inside and see if it's clear. What I don't like, let's say this was live. Live gun, right? Live, it's still live, it's still live, it's still live, it's still live. Now it's clear. Versus this. Live, not live, because I've opened it, and the source of ammunition is gone. This is why I prefer this sequence. It also leads to dealing with malfunctions later on, which we'll cover in this one, and then we'll go live on the range with all of these drills for you to practice. Initially though, let's get this down. So picking up the gun, locking it open, looking at it, removing the source if need be, and knowing that the gun is clear and ready to be worked with dry. All right, so we've covered a lot of things up until this point, and a lot of them all just tie into each other, and that's kind of why I like the sequence that I roll with. So let's get into checking the gun to see if it's clear, and then loading the gun. The sequence is gonna lend itself to malfunctions clearings later on, and just overall good practices. So this thing has a mag in it, I'm gonna pick it up, lock it back, look inside, take the mag out, I know it's clear, put that down. Now it's completely unloaded, and I know it's unloaded. A key thing that I really enjoy about this specific method of clearing it is that my hands are still free to do things. So right now, I've locked it back, and now I'm committing to the magazine. I didn't commit to the magazine early, which means now this hand is occupied, and I need to either stow this somewhere or dump it, and then I can come over here, and now I have no mag. So the little thing that I missed on the last portion of this that I really wanted to let you guys in on is that. So if this is together and in, I lock it back first, hands are still free, now I can start grabbing things and putting things where I need them without having to do things with busy hands. Key point that I really like, unloading, loading. So here we go, it's down. Just one more time for you guys to pick up on this. I'm picking the gun up, locking it open, looking inside, taking the mag out, completely clear and empty. Now I've unloaded the gun, I've checked it for any rounds, I know that it works, everything locks back, good to go. From here, we'll get into a loading sequence with I'm gonna add just a few rounds to this, live rounds. Again, safety is in the individual, not in the environment. So here we go. I have my rounds ready to go. The gun is open and clear. Pick the gun up, magazine goes into the gun, slide goes forward, press check, they're free. And now I know this gun is nice and loaded, good to go, and I can start getting things ready to take on the road or the day.
That's way back when 408 on Seminole was the address. I saw things I shouldn't have, though I love the family to death. Way back then it was a mess. We was living check to check. Now my shirts are getting.
All right, so we've talked about a lot of fundamental things that are really gonna help you out. I know that there's a ton of other ways, and I'm smiling because it's gonna cause some sort of rift in somebody's panties somewhere, and they're gonna freak out about what we've been talking about. Look, these are our suggestions that have shown time and time again that in classes people become better and more confident and more proficient because it's simplifying a task that was once made hard for no reason. Question everything, understand why you're doing things. That's the true importance of everything, right? So everything we've covered up until now, let's just stack one more thing on top of that. So let's say I've loaded this gun. It's fully loaded and everything's in. I know the mag is in because I've checked it. It's sent around forward and I made sure that there was one in the chamber by press checking. So 2 checks administratively to make sure this gun is loaded, right? Let me run you through that again. It's here, I pick up the mag, I put it in, I make sure it's in, I let the slide go, I look, it's checked through the press check, the mag is in, there's one in the chamber, this is ready to go. So now if I'm firing, boom, 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 this gun's going off, I know that the magazine is feeding rounds to the gun. Again, another potentially controversial topic. For me, if I get a click, no bang, I come over the top, I rack it, and then I continue to go. Avoiding the tap rack because the tap just means that the magazine's not seated or there's debris. We all keep clean guns and clean magazines. So if your gun is cycling, we know the mag is feeding, we know that it's potentially just that round. Cycle that bad boy out, get back on target, keep shooting. That's the one point with that. The really big deal with the sequence of picking the gun up, locking it open, taking the mag out, and why that sequence is so important is, let's say I'm firing, right? Check the mag, check there, press check, it's all good. I'm firing and I get a double feed, I see the obstruction, I see things are jammed up here. If I lock this open, I can address that by relieving the pressure off of the gun here, or off of the chamber area, and then taking the mag out, making sure this is okay. This, if it's clear and stuff falls out, then everything's clear. There's no need to rack unless there's stuff that's stuck inside of the chamber. If there isn't, reinsert the magazine, let that slide go, and continue to work. You will definitely get practice on that in our courses. Just understand that there are better ways. It doesn't mean that it's the best way just because you learned it over here. There are better ways, constantly evolving off of the most simple things that we've complicated for no reason. Simplicity in all things. That's the way to go. Alright guys, so we covered a lot of stuff. Hopefully this video will help you prep for the classes when you guys do come and train with us or anywhere else. We advocate you guys train with whoever you think is a good instructor. Check out who you're going to check out. Just have some good practices, especially the grabbing and moving, manipulating, safety, basic fundamentals of shooting. All those things are going to help you enjoy the course a lot more. So quick recap here, right? We're here, we're locking open, we're looking inside, clear, mag goes in, check that that's in, look inside, send that forward, we're going to check, make sure that that's in. Now we have good active equipment and an easy sequence to remember that applies to malfunctions, it applies to handling, all the basics that we could do, you could do. We obviously just showed them dry. I practiced them dry, the guys practiced them dry. It's all stuff that's gonna help you be better at classes and maximize the potential for learning when you're not trying to play catch up. Hope this helps, and I'll see you on the next one.
I think I'm playing chess, I see a king, I'm at his neck. I'm 3 steps ahead at every move, now that's a check. Yes, they wanna know my secret, it's because I never slept. All my nightmares of me at 40, life's a wreck. See my dad, he in debt, and my mom, she upset. That's way back when 408 on Seminole was the address.